Hi, everybody. I want to talk about success and satisfaction today in a way which I don't know if you've thought about it this way before, and I think it's really helpful. Everybody says, okay, when you get to a different level of success, you have different problems. Yes, of course, that's correct. You have to deal with a bigger team, you have to deal with problems on a bigger scale, and so on and so forth. And if you have reached a high level of success, then you know what it took from you to reach that level. You know what it took internally. You know what you had to, sometimes you had to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, sometimes working late hours, sometimes doing things you wouldn't want to do for a long time, but certainly could do for a shorter time to get where you wanted to go. You had maybe put yourself out in public when you didn't particularly feel comfortable or want to, and even see if you could honestly enjoy it, which might have been a stretch, and all kinds of things. So we reach success from certain parts of ourselves. But success, excuse me, and satisfaction are not the same. Success and satisfaction are not the same. Often, what it takes to get to a level of success, what it takes from inside of us, is actually the the fodder or the seeds for why we don't feel satisfaction. So bear with me for a second. So if, like yesterday, the other day, I was talking to somebody, a very successful woman, never thought she'd be this successful, she said. And I asked her if she would give me a metaphor about what this kind of success felt like to her, because she's working really hard. And she says, I feel like a piece of iron that's out in the sun and absorbing all that light and expanding. And then comes nighttime and the darkness, and I get to cool down. And then daytime comes, and the sun is on me, and I have to expand because I have to get things done. And I thought that that really hit me. The both sides of it, the sun and being out there and being bigger and taking on tasks and discovering how to help people in a certain way, which is what part of the work that she does. And then actually getting to like slow down and relax, because she doesn't let herself slow down very much. But then she has to go back up into the sun and expand. We all have something like that where we think we have achieved success in a certain way, and but that way contains the seeds of our own quote destruction, or of over expansion, or that's not exactly the right word, of having to do things in a certain way that are not totally congruent with how we would prefer to be or how we wish we could be, but that way of achieving success is the only way we know. So most people, when you say, well, if you're so successful and you don't feel good about it, maybe you should relax more or do more things outside of work, and give kind of advice like that. Well, do you really think that if you're a successful person, you haven't thought about that? Of course you know. You already know that time off helps, relaxation helps, meditation helps, doing something other than working helps. And it's not about just not working. It's something else inside of us that drives us to keep doing the things in a certain way that already created success, but then doesn't really lead to satisfaction. So what the common wisdom is that then you stop doing just those things and you do some other good things for yourself, like I said a moment ago, like taking more time off. But for example, this woman that I was talking to, and people, many people who are like her, that's not fun. That's not what they want to do. But the pace and the way at which they're achieving success, that's not a long-term thing. That's not going to last. That's not going to be able to, and it's not just that it won't last, but really what I'm talking about is it doesn't lead to the deep satisfaction that you're looking for. And that's one of the reasons that is revealed when you really look at how success and satisfaction are not equivalent. The it's not just about too much effort. It's not about working too much, although it's about what's driving us from the inside, that we have to succeed that way. So it it's very painful because that way has brought you success, and yet it's not sustainable, and more important is it's not fun, it's not satisfying, it's not a place that you feel good, and yet you keep going. And this is why a lot of founders who have been successful, women founders for example, we start trying to manage the dissatisfaction. Oh, okay, I'll go to lunch with my women friends, or I'll take that vacation, or I'll for sure do not turn on the computer on Sunday or something like that. But that's managing it. It's not resolving it. And what you're really, really needing is a resolution of this, not just one more thing to manage. You certainly, the operating system that we're operating under includes this kind of internal friction, this way of having success come. The operating system that is running us includes the dissatisfaction. So how do you stay successful and even more successful? And without reducing that, if you have an internal operating system that is creating the dissatisfaction by the way you're creating the success, you want to stay successful, you don't want that to go away. So that's the real dilemma. That's the aggravation, right? And it can't be done by simply managing it, because then you're doing what you're already doing, but even more so, managing one more thing. So think about that and let me know. Make a comment, let me know, or send me a DM on LinkedIn, or to let me know how this lands, and if you've noticed yourself wrestling with this, and if you found something different than managing it, because it does exist. You don't have to manage yourself out of dissatisfaction.